Hi, I'm Lady J, Jean Howard Hill, and I know that most of you on Facebook know me because I'm your Facebook friend. A few months ago, I solicited the prayers of all of you as I was going before God to make a decision as to whether or not I was going to run for Congress again. And I thought it was going to be a 3 day, went to 4 days, and it ended up 7 days, and then 8 days. On the eighth day, God gave me an answer during my consecration. And one of the things that God said to me was, He took me to David, and He said, when did David win the greatest battle? And I said, when he fought Goliath. He said, are you sure? And I said, yeah, I think I'm sure, I'm a pastor, I'm a preacher, I'm supposed to know that. He says, no, 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 no. He said, when David won the most important battle was when his heart was after me. And he was willing to do whatever it took and to allow me to put whatever he needed in him through the course of time. And most of us, when we talk about David, we think David was someone who just, slew Goliath and then he went on up and became king. But he didn't, because he had a lot of Sauls. And uh, and you say a lot of Sauls, yeah, we know he had Saul, and but there were enemies always pressing in on David, and but God had already said to him, "You're going to be king." It was already purposed in the heavens that he was going to be king, and so what I'm saying is when God was talking to me, He said, "Jean," He said, you've run before. He said, when you ran the first time in 1980 as a Republican for state representative, he said you ran out of a Democratic district and you got 35% of the vote, and that was good. That was good. And he said, but I had you wait, and then I brought you back. And then you became, you ran for Congress, you know. And he said, but I wanted you to have the experience of winning and losing. But I also wanted you to know that things come in time, in increments of time. And you are not the same person you were when you ran the first time. You're not the same person who ran those other times. And he said, because I want someone who knows the importance of losing. And he said, but you didn't really lose. David never lost any of those battles. Even when Saul was pursuing him, David had still the advantage over Saul. But he said, I wanted to teach you some things. Rulership is not always about popularity, it's not always about winning all of your battles, but it's having the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding to know how to put together strategy. And once you've lost, you know how to win because you study the losses. And most of the time when someone loses, they get upset and say, well, I lost, da 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 da. Well, God said, study the losses. And he said, that's something you've always done. And so as I was studying the losses, God also said to me, he said, there is my perfect will is made of time, season, purpose, and place. And he said, when those four things are fulfilled, that's when you can run. And just recently, even after I came up from prayer, I still didn't have a complete answer. I thought I did. And it was just tonight, God said, yes, I'm releasing you to run for Congress, 3rd District Congress. And he said, you have reached the level of maturity spiritually where you know what to do. And you say, well, are you going to go there and be a pastor? Are you going to go there and preach? Listen, let me explain something to you all. Knowing God is not just a church thing, okay? Knowing God is having the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding as to how to lead people. and how to meet the needs of people. David met the needs of his people. And that's why they love David. They love David. And so it's more than just running for Congress. It's about looking well to the needs of the people. And and God also reminded me, he said, you've been through so much in your life. you know, I preached a funeral, and I said, you know what? I said, I know how you feel. I said, I've lost my mother, my father, my sister, my brother, my aunt. And somebody in the audience said, we need to be praying for you. So, you know, I've undergone some things in my life, and it's not funny because nothing is funny when you're going through the furnace and the fire. But I thank God for everything I've gone through, particularly during my uh, 30, 32, going into 33-year widowhood, because I saw what it felt like to go from having to your life just being crushed. I saw what it felt like to see the politics surrounding even a death, surrounding some things that I never thought would have even come. I didn't think this was a part of being a widow. And the fact that I said to God, yes, and that I would remain a widow for as long as He wanted me to do it. Of course, He's kicking me out now. He's kicking me out. Oh, I was like, God, I don't even have prospect. Okay, I don't even care. He said, but you can't be a widow anymore. Anyway, let me keep going there. And this is another thing, y'all. I want y'all to understand. What you see is what you get. So don't think that you're gonna get anything different in Gene Howard Hill. You're gonna see somebody that's gonna go to Congress, very knowledgeable. You know why I'm knowledgeable? Some of y'all don't know this, and maybe you do, but if you go to the University of Tennessee, you will see my picture hanging up. And I don't usually brag, but God said you need to. This isn't brag. You just need to give them the 411. Um, so, anyways, you will see my picture. I am sad to say only one of two African American professors at the University of Tennessee who have enjoyed the privilege of being Outstanding Professor of the Year. I was Outstanding Professor of the Year for 2006. It was required 5 nominations. I got 68 nominations. And I didn't get the nominations because I was a female. I didn't get the nominations because I was Black. Definitely didn't get it because of that. But I did it because I teach. And when I teach, my goal is that you learn. I'm not trying to flunk a student. And many of my students out there who will see this video will say, you're right. And putting you in positions of being able to actually participate in mock environments so that you will understand what government is about. When you go to my website, you're going to see some of the things that I've done. And so I know political science. I have taught state and local government, national government, and even foreign government, international government at the University of Tennessee. And so I'm well versed. And that law degree gives me something too. It really does, because you're going to Washington, D.C. to make laws. So it's important to understand the elements of a law, and not only the elements of the law, but the impact that the law has on people. And that's the problem with Congress. Congress is not consulting the people. Now, some of my students out there, my UTC students, what did I tell y'all about there were 4 branches of government? And I remember, what was it, you, Paige, that said, no, there's 3. And I said, there's 4. And finally, what I said, what the 4th branch was, everybody went like, oh, 4 branches of government? Yes. The 4th is the people. Don't you ever forget the fact that you have more power than the person you elected. It's representative government. No one should go to Congress without consulting you on things that are happening in Congress. No one should go to Congress unless they've already gotten a platform, talked to you, surveyed you, put together committees, subcommittees in different areas so that they can get the expertise from you, the people. See, we don't go to Congress with all this knowledge. We know how to govern. You should know how to govern, but we don't know those little intricate things that are happening with you that's impacting you until we talk to you. And of course, we should have some inkling, some ideas, some foundational kinds of things that we already know, but we need to consult with you. You are the fourth branch of government. And I want to ask you something. When was the last time you saw your congressman or congresswoman? When was the last time they asked you anything? When was the last time that you even knew what they were doing in Washington, D.C.? But when it comes around election time, you'll see camera time, in parades, all this little silly stuff, giving out appreciation for people. Y'all, let me tell y'all something. That's just a bunch of bull. It's poor leadership. I'm going to have committees based upon your professions so that when I need input as to a specific area, I'm going to have committees. I'm going to come to you and say, you have the expertise. Tell me, what is it that I'm missing here? Or what is it that I need to do? Because as people, you are the fourth branch of government and you have the power. And we get caught up into this Republican, Democrat, whatever thing, to the point that we get cheated. Just because somebody is a Republican and it's a Republican district does not make them a congressperson, okay? It doesn't. And most of the things that you deal with in Congress has nothing to do with party politics. You see a lot of it in the news, but y'all, most of those bills don't have anything to do with whether this is a Republican bill or a Democratic bill. And those of you who I taught, we didn't do that in class. You could be whatever you wanted to be. I didn't care. You could make up your own party as long as you understood the mechanisms of Congress, how Congress functions, how you have not only Congress, but you have the executive branch, you have the judicial branch, how that plays a role into even your congressional responsibilities, and you have the people. And so what I'm saying to you is that you're not going to get someone going to Congress who's a novice. You're going to get someone who goes to Congress who actually understands the process. From the moment that you discover that this is a legislative issue or a legislative problem that may need to be codified into law or require legislative action. Everything doesn't require legislative action. Let me just give you an example of something. If there's someone in my district who's having some issues with Social Security, I'm going to have someone in that office that can help you through that process. Now, we will not represent you at hearings. That's what I used to do at legal services, represent people at hearings. But no, we won't represent you at a hearing. But if there is something we can cut through that red tape, we're going to do it. Veterans Affairs. Those of you who have served in the military, I got your back. Oh yeah, I got your back. I got your back, your family's back, your kids' back, your churn's back, your cat's back, your dog's back, whatever back you need, because you are a priority to me. Anytime somebody gives their life or offer themselves up for the service of their country, you should come first, and you will come first. And seniors, same thing. But I wanted to stress that with the military and citizens, period. If there's an issue, you can come to our office. I am not just, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not hiring people because you helped me to get elected. I would like to say HELL, no, but I'm not going to say that. I'm just going to say heck no. No, I don't. If that's the only reason why you're helping me to get elected, you can scratch it. Mm-mm. I need people with expertise in my office. I need people who know Social Security law, veterans law. I need for them to know the processes by which you can get some help within the federal government if you're having some issues. Because when you come to our office, I want to have people who have expertise in certain areas that can help you. You know, yeah, that can actually help you to resolve some issues. And if they cannot resolve it, then it comes to me. And if it requires a legislative measure, then I will move forward with that. If it requires me to take a little walk over to one of the agencies or summons the head of that agency to my office, I will do that. Okay? That's the power of a congressperson. And we have allowed people to go to Congress and they have done nothing. Nothing. And you have lost opportunities to not just be represented, but to also be a significant part of the process. That's what it's all about. You're supposed to be a part of the process. Government of the people, for the people, by the people. Remember those little words? Constitutionally, you have a right to be represented. And I'm just saying this, that as your congresswoman, I got you. I got you. Okay. I'm going to take care of you. And I'm going to make sure that my district is well taken care of. Okay. You don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about it. And I want to say this too. I am running as a Frederick Douglass Lincoln Republican. What is that, Lady J? Well, when I came into the Republican Party, all of my school teachers were Republicans. I try not to tell my age. Maybe I came into the Republican Party before I was born. But there was the Republican Party and the African American community had a relationship that it does not have now. I don't know what has happened to my party. I really don't. Because I've seen racism in this party that you would not believe. I don't like having to say this, but I have. Because it's racism when I have not been elected. And I have been the most qualified candidate of any race that I have been in. So it's sexism and a little racism and well, little sexism, a lot of racism. And so I want you to know this, that I'm not playing the race card. I'm just giving you some facts that if I was a white person, I'd get elected. Check out all of your people that are in Congress right now, not just in my district. Find me one person that's more qualified than I am, that's ready to go. Not day one, but, I'm ready. I know what I am doing. But I want to get back to coming into the party. And I was very well received when I first ran for state representative. I ran in like I said, a Democratic district, got 35% of the vote, and good showing. I had President Ronald Reagan sent me a letter of endorsement, and unfortunately, I lost the letter. I don't even talk about how I lost it, but I treasured that letter for so long. But he sent me a letter of endorsement. I had people who came down from the state party to welcome me. I'm some of the most prominent citizens here, powerful citizens here in Chattanooga, Scotty Probasco, John Wright, American National Bank was American National Bank then. The big people, the really, really important people, they called the state headquarters and said, we want you to meet with her. And they met with me in his office at American National Bank. That's the kind of support that I had because Mr. Wright believed in me. And he knew that I understood the process. And I really, really long for the days when we can go back to being the Republicans that I knew. I really do. I don't know what's in the party now. I've been called a nigger. I've had some things said to me, done to me that should have never happened to me, only because of the color of my skin. I've seen my daughter have to endure things that she should have never endured and have been said. I never forget, I was summoned over to the Hamilton County Republican office, didn't know where I was going. Got there with my daughter and got jumped on by the Hamilton County Republican Party chairperson. And she hadn't even been in the party even for a minute. But you know how in the Republican Party, if you're white, you move up. If you're black, wait your turn. You know, come on, y'all. Come on. See, I'm talking straight now. Straight. And as my son's out saying, straight. Because it needs to be said. I'm not mad. I'm not angry. I'm not an angry black woman. You ain't see me angry. Okay, this is not angry. Okay, I'm not angry until I start taking off my earrings. Anyway, that's a joke. And I never forget that day because my daughter had the strangest look on her face when we left. And I had to get her in the car, drive around the corner, and sit and talk to her. And she says, Mommy, are all white people this mean? And I said, sweetheart, no. I said, they're not. And I said, there are some bad people everywhere. And I thank God for people like Mary Louise Collins, who took my daughter and said, you're my granddaughter. Y'all know Mary Louise Collins. Her husband was one of the reporters or whatever for the Chattanooga Times, I believe it was. And she took LaShonda and she made sure that LaShonda understood that all white people weren't prejudiced and mean and nasty. And I want to really thank some of you who have always been there for me, regardless, and that you've done everything you possibly could to sort of lessen some of those blows or whatever. Not that I couldn't defend myself, but when you look at a candidate based upon their race and refuse to look on their qualifications, that's racism, okay? And I know y'all don't like talking about racism, but it is. It is. And so, but I can say this, that there are some good Republicans, good white Republicans, who got past racism. And you were there for me. There are many, many more of you. Many, many more of you. And I am grateful. And I said Mary Louise Collins' name, but there are some other people too, and you will see them on my website as I'm giving tribute to them, and just thank you to them. So what I'm saying is, this is sort of my announcement, my pre-announcement. My website will go up in 2 weeks from today. Well, by the 1st of August or no later than the first week of August. And it's packed. I'm having to put in the kitchen sink, the toilet, the face bowl, the rugs, the basement. I'm putting it all in there so that you can see just how qualified I am. And, you know, this is new for me because I've never really used the words as it relates to me. And a friend of mine pulled me over and said, look, if you don't toot your own horn, nobody else is going to toot it. And he said, now, toot, toot. He said, let me hear you toot. And I said, what? He said, let me hear you toot. And I had to sit there and go, toot, toot. He said, is that the best you could do? So he had me rehearsing toot, tooting. But those things that I'm pointing out, which are major, I've traveled all over the United States. I am the national chair of the National Republican African American Caucus. We have caucuses in each state, but you know, we do what we got to do. And yeah, I've been guest at the White House, but you wouldn't know that. But guess what? When you go to my website, you're going to see the pictures, you're going to see the newspaper clippings, you're going to see the articles, you're going to see the opportunities that have been afforded for me to be able to come into the party. You're going to see it because if some would have you believe, they would have you believe I'm new to the party. You know, this is crazy. It's just crazy. And as I was putting my website together, I told my daughter, I said, I got all these news clippings and that are going all the way back. I said, I had forgotten I had done all this stuff, meeting at the RNC, White House, this, that. I said, look at all this stuff, you know, and pachyderms, national pachyderms. And I said, I had forgotten all about this. But as I was thinking about it, I said, okay, I know what I got to do. I know what I got to do. I got to put it all out there because somebody had the nerve to say, is she qualified? Y'all need to stop it, okay? Take your rear end over to the University of Tennessee. Look on the wall and see Jean Howard Hill, Outstanding Professor of the Year 2006, Political Science Department. Y'all, government is political science, okay? Not only that, but I know my stuff. And as my son's out in the street, I know my ass. Y'all know what I want to really say, but I can't say it. I know my ass, okay? I know it back and forth, whether it's foreign, international, state and local, whatever. And you will see when you go to my website that it is not just, hi, I'm a Republican and I want you to vote for me. My website is so packed with stuff. And I did it for two reasons. I did it, first of all, to shut the mouths of those people who say, who is she? You'll find out. Because most of y'all know who I am. Johnny come latelys may not know who I am, but most of y'all know who I am. So that's crazy to even ask that question. But I also did it so that you can understand. I'm giving even, let me just say this. I'm trying to get a lot in within a 30-minute video because I don't want it any longer than that. I am basically going to try to teach you what Congress is about and how you as the people have power. And that's important because if you don't know what Congress does, how in the world can you elect somebody? Because you don't know what their job is going to be. So all of that is on there. I've got the issues that I see are going to be very prominent and going to affect you during the tenure of my leadership in Congress. I am showing you the subcommittees, the committees that I want to set up outside of Congress within the communities that would involve you. So you can have an opportunity to say, I want to serve on the committee. And let me tell you something, you've got expertise in certain areas. You usually don't say, well, I got to look at this from a Democratic perspective or from a Republican. You look at it from an expertise perspective. So I'm looking forward to this, and we're going to have some fun out there on the campaign trail. And this time, y'all ain't going to ignore me. Nope, 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 nope. You're not going to ignore me because I'm coming to make a big splash. And I just want to thank you so much. I love all of you. And most of y'all who know me, I got a sense of humor that you would not believe. But I know how to be serious, and most of y'all know that I'm very serious. In fact, most people think I'm serious and that I never have a sense of humor, but I do. And so we're gonna enjoy being out there on that campaign trail, but we're gonna take it very seriously because I take very seriously the people of the 3rd District. I love you. I care about you, and I want to see good things happen for our 3rd District. And so that's why I want to make sure I get around, I meet all of you. My campaign is not going to come out there with 2-liners and little stupid stuff, okay? It will not include that. It's going to be to the extent that you get to know and see how I'm going to operate in Congress by the way in which I operate on the campaign trail. So I thank you so much. I appreciate so much you giving me this opportunity to speak with you. God bless you. God bless you. And God bless our country. And I'm just going to ask God as I close this video this. Father, I just thank you, oh sovereign, almighty God. I thank you for this opportunity to come before your people, the people of the 3rd District. And I just ask that your will be done and that you would open the hearts and minds and the understanding of your people so that they will know what hour this is and they will know what to do in order to advance the good causes for which, Lord, they are entitled to. And God, I just pray that I will continue to listen to you and that you will continue to give me wisdom, knowledge, understanding, and direction as you have led me, because this is not my decision, it's your decision. And I thank you for enabling me to fast and pray for those 7, and I went into the 9th day, actually. I thank you, Lord, because 9 represents birthing. And on that 9th day, it was settled on the 7th. But on the 9th day, you began to birth some things inside of me and began to explain to me why it's important that Congress has people in it who understands. And God, we're coming into a season in our world and in our country where we're going to need you. And God, I just ask that you would give me the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding to lead such great people on the campaign trail. And should you favor and should the people be willing to elect me, that I will be the humbled servant. And being humble does not mean that I'm not going to be a leader. I'm going to be a leader, strong leader, but humbled, who love your people. Thank you so much, God. And thank you, the people of the 3rd District. I look forward to seeing you on the campaign trail, and I'm going to go out of my way to make sure that I get to see you. I'm going to be in every nook and corner, crevice of this 3rd District. I'm not waiting till debates, okay? I'm just going to show up, okay? I love all of you. Keep me in your prayers as I shall keep the 3rd District in mind. Love you.